The common expression of blind leading the blind typically refers to someone who has about as little knowledge as the person they are informing. This can also refer to fallacies, people who use them and the people who fall victim to them. Deception of reasoning are the absolute qualities of fallacies. They are easily thrown around and lack proof, sources, and argument typically. There are two fallacies that stand out under these circumstances, and I have prepared enough research through extensive reading of two vouched for sites, the Internet Encyclopedia of Philosophy and Logically Fallacious. Hello, my name is Madison D. George, and I'm ready to make aware of two different fallacies, false effect and false dilemma. It is easy to point fingers when in the midst of a hardship, and the fallacy false effect has this exact effect on people. Typically, when this fallacy is used, a person has zero rationalization and awareness. They don't call for legitimate reasoning. A direct definition from Logically Fallacious, an online book dedicated to identification of fallacies, is cited defining false effect as incorrectly assumes an effect from a cause. And in even more plain of an understanding, apples and oranges equal bananas, which is bananas in itself because none of those have correlation. An undeniably obvious example of false effect would be a student who dyes their hair blue before an exam and then later fails that exam. She calls blame on dyeing her hair blue the reason why she failed the exam. That's a prime example of false effect, when in reality, her hair has zero correlation to do with her test. She probably didn't study, ran out of time, didn't follow directions correctly. Many other possibilities. Fact of the matter is, there's no proof of reasoning, and therefore is a convicted fallacy. Similar in that the fallacy faulty effect has zero acknowledgement for any possible outcome, another fallacy, false dilemma, leans on the assumption that there cannot be any other options besides A or B. The two correlate in the idea that there cannot be any other development in the way. As I continued my research in either-or fallacy identification, the Internet Encyclopedia of Philosophy was found stating the fallacy is called the false dichotomy fallacy, or black or white fallacy. Probably one of the most simple definitions to wrap your brain around: apples or bananas. Another clear definition of what false dilemma or either-or fallacy comes from Logically Fallacious. The writers are found stating when only two choices are presented, yet more exist, or a spectrum of possible choices exists between two extremes. In other words, they're explaining there's no in-between alternatives. You have to decide between two completely polar opposites, even though there are other possibilities that can be accounted for. I have found in my day-to-day life exhibiting this fallacy through people who stand outside of grocery stores and ask you to make a pledge to a certain cause. This can be an issue and be a prime example of false dilemma because they're telling you either make a donation to the tigers or you want those tigers to go extinct. That is really, really hasty and can be super offensive to people. Maybe they really love the tigers, but they can't make a donation because they don't have the money. They're in a rush to get out of the grocery store. They're already making a donation to a different cause, or they just don't like you being in their face. This fallacy is easily thrown around and should be considered the next time a person attempts to make an ultimatum. It is clear now that these blind who lead other blind may need to call for more wise and dependable justification to decide what the cause of an issue was, or when deciding definite options to an affair. It is easy to find yourself leaning on fallacies such as faulty cause or faulty dilemma when defending your point or when you lack substantial proof, but being aware of misused fallacies such as those will lead to fairness in reasoning instead of deception. Thank you.